Over the last 25 years, Resident Evil has given us the very best in jump scares, heart-racing battles, and controller-clenchingly frustrating puzzles. I'm looking at you, water sample puzzle from RE3, you bugger. But one of the largest components of Resident Evil must be, well, death. Not the dude in the robe and the Grim Spectre, unfortunate expiration. I know, it's hardly the greatest pick-me-up on a cold, wet Monday morning, but it is something that somehow makes the game popular. Don't tell me you've never wanted to throw your controller at the TV at that classic unexpected "you died" moment, and then immediately reloaded your last save from 3 hours ago. But there are times where our deaths are simply inevitable, and we all know it's coming. I'm Steve from First Aid Spray, and this is 5 Inevitable Deaths in Resident Evil. Number 1. The Stunlock Lickers, Resident Evil 2, 1998. Lickers, one of the most fearsome enemies in the entire Resident Evil series, and a BOW that offers multiple options for ending your journey. Whether it's their razor-sharp claws or the ridiculously long winding tongue that kills your run, this mutated zombie certainly packs a punch. Now, how would you possibly make this enemy more vicious than it already is? Oh, I've got an idea, Capcom. Let's introduce more than one into a room at the same time. Not 2, surely. 3? More? There never seems to be any lickers around when William Birkin enters a room. Funny that. Regardless of how many there are, these killers can be nothing short of a nightmare to navigate. I'm just going to jump in here and say the word Stunlock, and look, these lickers love me. Back into a corner, taking multiple swipes from a congregation of lickers that are more in sync than Wesker doing a tango with a T002 tyrant. Unable to heal, unable to move, unable to even pause the screen just to give me the sweet option of embracing my fate. Whether you wince in agony or scream in frustration watching your favourite character succumb to these creatures, it's hard to watch. So when you're stuck in this mess, just give up. You're dead, and you know it. Oh, and just to add more to this, in the remakes of these games, the lickers finally figured out how to truly pounce you. Sweet dreams. Number 2. Krauser Returns, Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a pioneer of the series, and the first sign of the change from survival horror into the more action-oriented genre we know nowadays. This game had everything. Guns, backflips, rolling boulders, calm down Chris, and monster boss battles. Leon's journey through rural Europe, rocking up with just a handgun and a snazzy suitcase, was a genre-defining classic that created fond memories for millions of gamers. However, it also included 3 words that will haunt every Resident Evil player for decades to come. QuickTime events. RE4 is full of them, and often the player needs to make controller or keyboard-based inputs just to keep our main protagonist alive and well. As Leon looks to end his European adventure, we come across a former colleague by the name of Krauser, a former SOCOM operative now working as a spy for Albert Wesker. It's entertaining to watch as Leon engages with some of Krauser's one-liners as they battle for dominance. Prior to this, however, players will have to endure both characters' Obi-Wan Anakin moment as both decide to battle it out with knives. That sounds fun, right? Players will need to endure lengthy exposition mixed with intermittent quick-time events that will leave them headbutting the closest wall, should they make even a minor misstep. Wait, lengthy exposition that doesn't involve Albert Wesker? What? Anyway, players will watch as the inputs pop up on their screens mid-conversation, and if they sit back and let their guard down for even a second, they'll also get to see Leon getting slaughtered in various, sometimes hilarious ways. There are 7, count them, 7 QTs to complete during this short section, but a split second will pass, and if you've missed that dreaded input, then you just know, it's game over. Fortunately, QTs were removed from future games and all was right with the world. Wait, sorry, what? You're kidding. Ignore that last point. But what makes this section even better, miss one event and you have to start all the way back at the beginning. Never played this section? Then lucky you, I guess.
You may be able to prolong your life, but it's not like you can escape your inevitable death, is it?
Number 3. The Ivy. Resident Evil 2 2019. In the original version of Resident Evil 2, we encounter our first taste of the Ivy. Spawned from Plant 43, these slow critters will take a swing at you with their vines, spit acid, and occasionally try to grab hold of you, but it's nothing the player hasn't dealt with before. However, in 2019, Capcom released the remake of the second installment to critical acclaim, with many characters and enemy alterations. Calm down, Moth fans. We know, you're angry, I am too. One major change to the roster was that of the Ivy. Gone are these Triffid-inspired Stuff of Nightmares things, and hello to this half-zombie, half-vine hybrid. These creatures don't move very fast, nor do they offer any long-range attacks now, but get close and personal with them, and you're done. The only way to defeat these disasters is using fire. Anything else, and they will back up with a vengeance. Now, can you feel it? That tension in the air. There's a phrase that gamers around the world will cower and curl up in a ball at the sheer mention of. Insta-kill. I know what you're thinking. I thought hunters were the most frustrating insta-kills in the series. No, my friends. You have yet to meet the Ivy, 2019. If these vegan-friendly enemies decide to go for the meat option, you're done for. Only a sub-weapon, such as a knife or a grenade, will be able to save you at this moment. But with the introduction of these monstrosities toward the end of the game, you might feel your defense supplies to be a little, depleted. Once they grab a hold of you, you know, it's game over. To rub a little more salt into that wound though, the death sequence here lasts a whopping 15 seconds. That's 15 seconds where you get to sit back and ponder what your character may have been thinking as they were getting their brain munched. Yum. Number 4. The Danger Zone. Resident Evil 2, 1998, Resident Evil 3, 1999, and beyond. Calm down, Kenny Loggins, do not DMCA me! Don't worry folks, we haven't suddenly become a Top Gun podcast. I'm happy to say we won't be talking about Maverick here, but we will be talking about the Danger Zone. Since the beginning, Resident Evil fans have been met with the famous fine, caution, danger, health display in our item menu, and it's become a bit of a staple of the long-running series. However, during the first Resident Evil installment, players only found that they were in mortal danger and peril by checking their inventory screen. In the 2 sequels that followed, however, we were able to see the physical effects of the damage it was doing to our characters. When in caution, we would see our character holding their ribs and we knew it's time to maybe find some health. However, many players found that taking too much damage would mean a drop into the danger zone. Showing red on our status bar, our character would struggle to walk, and running was now completely out of the question. We would wander around praying to find the smallest green herb we could find, and knowing that one more hit may mean shaking hands with that ever-familiar "you died" screen. What makes this danger zone situation ever worse is that it was virtually impossible to outrun the various numbers of enemies in the game, and as many players found out, our situation could ill afford ever entering the danger zone. Lack of ammo? Check. Lack of health? Check. It was at that moment I knew, I'm dead, and I know it. You know I've not seen Top Gun, right? Number 5. The final countdown. Every Resident Evil game. Ever.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated.
I know it seems to the contrary, but we are not just naming entries based on 1980s bangers. Throughout the majority of the Resident Evil series, players have experienced the pressure of being on the clock. You hear that, Leon? It is important to be on time. Time has been a large part of what the series has been based upon since the beginning. Whether it was to get that perfect completion time, to earn yourself a bonus weapon, or just to compete with other speedrunners across the globe, time has always been critical. However, today, we're going to mention countdowns. Whether it's facing down Nemesis and trying to walk him directly into acid whilst on a timer ticking in the background, or taking part in the Mercenaries challenges, the Resident Evil series thrives on making players nervous by adding a clock indicating this is the end. Add some heavy tension music to the mix and some obstacles just to make the stress levels rise, a little more, and voila! Capcom seem to enjoy pouring misery on their fans with this, and have included this feature on virtually every Resident Evil game in some way, shape or form. So when you're taking on that final boss, or trying to escape a hospital while fighting off hunters and seeing that 3, 2, 1 tick down until you know it's game over, the dawning realization you'll have to do all that again is something that frustrates players even to this day. And there you have it, 5 inevitable deaths in the Resident Evil series. Let us know what you thought of this video and any other times you knew your fate was sealed by, sounding off in that comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see even more Resident Evil content from us, and be excellent to each other. This is Steve, signing off.
Thanks, you saved us.
I couldn't let you die.
Is it you?
Are you ready to finish this?
It's coming!
Yeah.